Travel Robot presents. Here is the list of top 10 things to do in Spain. With 50 provinces, 17 autonomous regions, and at least 5 languages, Spain is one of the most diverse countries in Europe. Every corner is different to the last, with impressive historical architecture, cozying up to revolutionary artistic movements and more. Mountains, beaches, cities, and villages. It is all here in spectacular Spain. The best things to do in Spain showcase everything that makes it so magical. Spain is filled with gorgeous beaches, vibrant festivals, natural wonders, and some of the most magnificent people on the planet. From Galicia to Catalonia, via the Basque Country, Andalusia, and the rest, this is Spain at its best. Here is the list of 10 things to do in Spain. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our future updates. Let's start the video. Number 1. Travel through time in Toledo. The perfect distance for a day trip from Madrid. Toledo is a destination that is as picturesque as it is historic, and the whole city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Known as the City of Three Cultures, Toledo's architecture was influenced by Christians, Muslims, and Jews. In one place, you can see grand cathedrals, mosques, and synagogues, while learning about the eras of the city's past rulers from the Romans to the Visigoths and the Moors. Sitting on a bend in the Tagus River, the city is rich in beautiful vistas, particularly from the top of the Alcazar, the highest point in Toledo, that also houses a museum dedicated to military history. However, the postcard-perfect view can be found at the Mirador del Val on the other side of the river. Number 2. Get lost in Toledo's Jewish Quarter. The capital of Castilla-La Mancha is a monumental city where you can get lost in its historic, walled old town. Just a few kilometers from Madrid, Toledo is home to monuments from Jewish, Muslim, and Christian cultures that are well worth a visit, including the cathedral, the Alcazar, and the El Greco Museum. A wander through the Jewish Quarter, with its narrow cobblestone streets and synagogues, is one of the best ways to discover the most authentic side of Toledo. The city is known for its steel. Swords have been forged in Toledo for over 2,000 years. Number 3. Stroll among blooming cherry trees in Extremadura. You don't have to go all the way to Japan to see cherry blossoms in full bloom. You do, however, have to visit Extremadura's Val del Jurt Valley, to the north of Caceres in spring. To be exact, you'll need to get there during the 15 days they're in bloom, a period that spans late March and early April. Of course, that means everyone else is there as well, but it's the ideal time to walk among the fields dotted with cherry trees, when you can be wowed by the view of endless white flowers that mean the delicious bright red fruit is just about to come in for the season. Number 4. Go on a rooftop crawl in Madrid. There's a famous saying in Madrid, de Madrid al cielo, from Madrid to the sky, bearing in mind that cielo also translates to heaven. What better way to try making that literal than hanging out on some of the best known and lesser visited rooftops around town? There are few experiences as pleasurable as watching the sunset over Gran Via with a cold beer in hand at Picalagardos, taking a dip in the big swimming pool atop the Hotel Emperador, or having a bite to eat on the legendary rooftop of the Círculo de Bellas Arts. Number 5. Go on safari in the Doñana Dunes in Huelva. The Doñana National Park is one of the most impressive in Spain, covering 116,000 hectares, much of which is in Huelva. The park spreads further into Seville and Cadiz. The park features lakes, pine forests, streams, dunes, cliffs, and beaches. To fully enjoy all the ecosystems and the 200,000-plus aquatic birds that inhabit the marshlands, take a 4-hour tour of the park in a 4x4 with a driver who doubles up as a guide. Other activities available in the park are horse riding, kayaking, hot air ballooning, mountain biking, kite surfing, and more. Doñana is one of Europe's most beautiful and important wetlands. What makes this national park so special is that in just one day you can see very different ecosystems. Marshland, lagoons, pine groves, aloe veras, moving dunes, cliffs, 30 kilometers of unspoiled white beaches, a natural spectacle that is different each season between the Andalusian provinces of Huelva, Seville, and Cadiz. Number 6. Walk fearlessly along the Caminito del Rey in Málaga. Fancy a bit of action? Try your feet at walking along the Caminito del Rey, King's Pathway. It may have a diminutive name, but it takes big bravery to head along the almost 8 kilometers of the trail via the Desfiladero de los Gaitanes in the province of Málaga. About a third of that has you reminding yourself to breathe along dizzying wooden plank walkways hanging about 100 meters above the river, built with great skill into the rocky walls of the gorge. Expect adrenaline aplenty. Take in the overwhelming beauty of the landscape, and above all, be patient because there is about 2 months' worth of thrill seekers booked in before you. Number 7. Find a quiet spot to sun and swim on Lanzarote. It's no secret, Papagayo Beach on the Canary island of Lanzarote is well known. But thanks to its extension and many nooks and crannies, it's still one of the few spots that are not as saturated by the influx of tourists as other beaches around the island. Papagayo boasts nearly 6 kilometers of inlets, coves, and solitary beaches separated by low crags. And the best bit is that this is a paradise where you can lose yourself nearly any month of the year, not just in summer. Number 8. Dare to walk along the impressive cliffs of the Basque Country. When you consider visiting the Basque Country, you may think of eating your fill in pinchos in San Sebastian and visiting its Playa de la Concha, or marveling at the architecture and art inside Bilbao's Guggenheim Museum. But for something different, awe-inspiring, and created by Mother Nature herself, try a hiking route that remains delightfully undiscovered by mass tourism. This is the Ruta del Flix, named for the rocks the sea has been eroding, about 10 kilometers of cliffs that extend between Zumaya, Diba, and Matriku in the province of Gipuzkoa. If you are unable to hike it, you can still enjoy the view from a boat and get some truly spectacular photos. Number 9. Hike the old trail from Cadaqués to Creus. The Creus Cape is one of the most amazing places on the Costa Brava. When you want to explore and you're up for a long walk, 14 kilometers, try the Caminito from Cadaqués, where you've been visiting that charming fishing village, to Creus. During the first bit, you walk along roads, but once you get to Portlagat, where Salvador Dali once lived, you can tour his house. It gets good. The beaches of Sant Luis and La Galola, expansive lands featuring abandoned vineyards, and the famous local lighthouse. For the return journey, some hikers opt for the road only, while some mix road and path. In total, it's about 4 hours of walking, and every minute is really worth it. Let's start the day with a walk. This is one of the most popular local routes, but it's definitely worth it because along its 14 kilometers you pass many beautiful coves. In fact, if you really want to capture the magic of the Creus, follow the old path that goes from Cadaqués to the lighthouse. During the first section of the itinerary, you walk along roads, but once you get to Portlagat, it really gets good. The beaches of Sant Luis and La Galola, expansive lands featuring abandoned vines, and finally, the famous local lighthouse. For the return journey, some people opt for the road only, while some mix road and path. In total, it's about 4 hours of walking, and every minute is really worth it. Number 10. Admire the amazing Alhambra in Granada. In Granada, you'll be visiting the Alhambra no matter what. This palace and fortress of the Moorish kings are not to be missed. When you want to admire it from afar, the popular Mirador de St. Nicholas is just opposite in the hilly Albaycin neighborhood. The lookout point is in a large square, with as many visitors filling it up to enjoy the view as buskers and vendors. If you prefer more tranquil environs, head back down, or stop on your way up to the Mirador de los Carvajales in Placida Carvajales, or have a drink or bite to eat at El Horto de Juan Ranas, where sunset affords you a stellar vista of the Alhambra, turning from its daytime red to its nighttime silhouette ablaze in lights. The lush landscape of the Alhambra in Granada was like heaven on earth for the Moors, who arrived here from the deserts of North Africa beginning in the 13th century. Majestic snow-capped Sierra Nevada mountains provide a gorgeous backdrop and the source of the Rio Geno. This pristine, flowing freshwater became a symbol of abundance. An oasis of dancing fountains, tall trees, and fragrant flowers, the Alhambra enjoys an awe-inspiring natural setting. The luxuriant grounds seem perfectly suited for lavish Moorish palaces. Known in Arabic as Medinet al-Hamra, the Red City, because of the color of the stone buildings, the Alhambra is a breathtakingly romantic sight. This citadel, with its complex of palaces, is one of the best places to visit in Andalusia to admire Islamic architecture. The intricately decorated rooms and serene courtyards represent the finest achievements of Moorish art in the world. The spot may be pricey, but you're paying for that view. That's all for today. So let us know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for upcoming amazing and informative